Hi and welcome to this history quiz with a difference. There's no questions on dates. Well, maybe one, but that's all. I've set the level of this quiz for the average person to enjoy. So what that means is there's some easy questions and a few that you might find challenging. If you're a history professor, it's not for you. But for everybody else, have fun and here we go. A significant shift in human history, what's another term for the Neolithic revolution? The agricultural, industrial or scientific revolution? And the answer is the agricultural revolution. Mesopotamia, referred to as the cradle of civilization, was located in the region now known as what? Central America, Central Africa or the Middle East? The correct answer here, the Middle East. The earliest known writing system, developed by the Sumerians, is known as what? Hieroglyphics, cuneiform or pictographs? And just so you know, the questions are mostly in chronological order. And the correct answer, cuneiform. What did the Sumerians use to write on? Paper, papyrus or clay tablets? And they used clay tablets. The Great Pyramid of Giza is believed to be which pharaoh's tomb? Ramesses II's, Tutankhamun's or Khufu's? And it's believed to be the tomb of Khufu. Hammurabi's Code is one of the earliest known sets of written laws. Who was Hammurabi? Was he a priest, king or warrior? And he was a king. Who was inside the famous Trojan horse? Was it Greek, Trojan or Persian warriors? And it was Greek warriors. According to the legend, ancient Rome was founded by two brothers, Romulus and who? Remus, Romus or Augustus? And the correct answer is Romulus and Remus. Where is considered the birthplace of democracy? Rome, Damascus or Athens? The correct answer there, Athens. Whose teachings were recorded by his disciples in a collection known as the Analects? Confucius's, Jesus's or Buddha's? And the answer, Confucius. Which metal alloy was largely replaced by iron for weapons and tools during the Iron Age? Brass, bronze or steel? And the answer, bronze. The Peloponnesian War, an ancient Greek war, was fought between Athens and who? Sparta, Troy or Argos? And the answer is Sparta. Alexander the Great was the king of which ancient kingdom? Egypt, Persia or Macedonia? And he was the king of Macedonia. Who was Alexander the Great's famous teacher, known for his philosophical teachings? Was it Socrates, Aristotle or Plato? And it was Aristotle. The famous Rosetta Stone has a message carved in three types of writing: Greek, Demotic and which other? Hebrew, Latin or hieroglyphics? And the answer is hieroglyphics. Who was the last pharaoh of Egypt? Was it Ramesses II, Tutankhamun or Cleopatra? And it was Cleopatra. Who was the first emperor of Rome? Augustus, Nero or Hadrian? And there's a bonus point if you can give his other name. The answer is Augustus. Who is considered the first pope of the Roman Catholic Church? Is it John, Paul or Peter? And the correct answer is Peter. Which ancient civilization is known for inventing true paper? The Egyptians, Chinese, or Greeks? And that was invented by the Chinese. The Roman Empire reached its greatest territorial extent under which emperor? Nero, Hadrian, or Trajan? And that was under Trajan. The Dark Ages began with the fall of which empire? The Persian, Greek, or Roman? And that was with the fall of the Roman Empire. Around 637-38, which army captured the Holy City of Jerusalem? The Muslim, Christian, or Jewish? And it was captured by the Muslim army. In which ancient civilization was gunpowder invented? Chinese, Greek, or Roman? And that, once again, was the Chinese. Name the Norse explorer, who is often credited with being the first European to set foot in North America. Harold Bluetooth, Leif Erikson, or Eric Bloodaxe? And it was Leif Erikson. The Norman conquest of England took place in which year? 1066, 1099, or 1014? And I promise this is the only question on dates. The answer is 1066. And who was the Norman leader who led the conquest and became the new King of England? Was it Harold Hardrada, Richard the Lionheart, or William the Conqueror? And it was William the Conqueror. Which university, founded in the 11th century, holds the title of the oldest university in continuous operation in the world? The University of Bologna, Oxford, or York? And the correct answer in my terrible Italian accent is Bologna. What was the objective of the First Crusade? Was it to convert Africans to Christianity, recapture the Holy Lands, or rescue the Vatican from invasion? And it was to recapture the Holy Lands. Which holy city was the main focus for the Crusaders to recapture from Muslim control? Was it Mecca, Jerusalem, or Medina? And the answer, Jerusalem. Whose birth name was Temujin and established what became the largest land empire in history? Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, or Cyrus the Great? And the correct answer, Genghis Khan. Which is a title granted by the emperor to a military commander or general in ancient Japan? Ronin, samurai, or shogun? And the correct answer, shogun. What is the common name of the Royal Charter of Rights agreed to by King John of England in 1215? Is it the Declaration of England, the Magna Carta, or the Great Constitution? And the answer, the Magna Carta. Marco Polo was a Venetian merchant and explorer known for his journeys from Europe to which continent? Africa, Asia, or North America? And the answer there is Asia. What was the capital city of the Aztec Empire, known for its grand architecture and intricate canal system? Tenochtitlan, Rio Bec, or Cusco? And the correct answer, Tenochtitlan. Which two countries fought the 100 Years' War from 1337 to 1453? England and France, Germany and Spain, or Portugal and Italy? That was between England and France. The Black Death is believed to have originated where before spreading to Europe? South America, Africa, or Asia? And it spread from Asia. Between 1347 and 1351, the Black Death killed approximately what percent of Europe's population? 5 to 10, 30 to 60, or 70 to 90? And it wiped out 30 to 60%. Which Italian city is considered the birthplace of the Renaissance? Florence, Rome, or Venice? And the correct answer, Florence. What was the capital city of the Inca Empire, renowned for its intricate stonework and terraced architecture? Cusco, Tikal, or Quito? And the correct answer is Cusco. Who was the last Byzantine emperor who died defending Constantinople from the Ottoman Turks? Was it Justinian I, Constantine XI, or Theo I? And it was Constantine XI. In 1492, Columbus set sail from Spain on his first voyage to find a new route to where? Asia, South America, or Southern Africa? And he was looking for a new route to Asia. Columbus's voyage was sponsored by which monarchs of Spain? Ferdinand and Isabella, Henry and Anne, or Carlos and Marie? And it was Ferdinand and Isabella. Columbus's fleet consisted of 3 ships, the Niña, Pinta, and which other? The Santa Susana, Maria, or Clara? And it was the Santa Maria. Columbus encountered land on October the 12th, 1492 in the present-day Bahamas. What did he name the island? Hispaniola, Nassau, or San Salvador? And he named it San Salvador. Which of these is not a crop that was brought to Europe from the New World? Maize, potatoes, or apples? The answer is apples. When Portugal and Spain started forming colonies in the New World, they initially forced whom to work on their plantations? Indigenous people, European prisoners, or French peasants? And they used indigenous people. Which European nation started the transatlantic slave trade in the early 16th century? Was it Spain, Portugal, or England? The others later became involved with it too, but it was started by Portugal. Over more than 300 years, approximately how many enslaved Africans were transported across the Atlantic? 1 million, 5 million, or 12 million? By all the nations that were involved in it, the answer is over 12 million. Between 1508 and 1512, the Sistine Chapel ceiling was painted by which artist? Raphael, Michelangelo, or Leonardo da Vinci? And that was by Michelangelo. In 1517, who is said to have nailed a copy of his 95 Theses to the door of a church in Germany? Nicolaus Copernicus, Martin Luther, or Leonardo da Vinci? And that was Martin Luther. Who is famous for leading the first expedition to circumnavigate the globe in 1519 to 22? Ferdinand Magellan, Christopher Columbus, or James Cook? And he died on the journey from a poisoned arrow. The answer is Ferdinand Magellan. Name the Spanish conquistador who is best remembered for capturing the Aztec capital. Was it Hernán Cortés, Juan Carlos, or Miguel de Cervantes? And the answer is Hernán Cortés. Which Polish astronomer proposed the heliocentric model of the solar system, challenging the geocentric view? Johannes Kepler, Galileo Galilei, or Nicolaus Copernicus? And it was Nicolaus Copernicus. What is Queen Elizabeth I's father's name? He was known for his 6 marriages. Was it King Henry VII, Edward VI, or Henry VIII? And he is King Henry VIII. The modern Gregorian calendar was introduced to replace which earlier calendar system? The Julian, Islamic, or Mayan? And it replaced the Julian calendar. Name the settlement established in 1607 that became the first permanent English settlement in North America. Was it Plymouth, Jamestown, or Rochester? And it was Jamestown. In 1610, one of Galileo's major discoveries was his observation of 4 moons orbiting which planet? Jupiter, Mars or Saturn? And the answer is Jupiter. Who led the parliamentary forces in the English Civil Wars and became Lord Protector of England in 1653? Was it Charles I, Oliver Cromwell or Richard III? And that was Oliver Cromwell. Whose groundbreaking work introduced his laws of motion and the laws of universal gravitation in 1687? Alessandro Volta, Michael Faraday or Isaac Newton? And that was Isaac Newton. Which country is considered the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution? The United Kingdom, Germany or France? And the answer, the United Kingdom. The use of which new energy source played a crucial role in driving machinery during the Industrial Revolution? Electrical, wind or steam power? And that was steam power. What was the primary reason for the 1773 Boston Tea Party? Was it a protest against taxes, slavery or working conditions? And it was a protest against taxes. Who was appointed the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolution? Was it Benjamin Franklin, George Washington or John Adams? And it was George Washington. In 1776, how many American colonies declared their independence from Great Britain? 11, 12 or 13? And if you're from the States, you should definitely know these. The answer is 13. In 1776, Dr. Edward Jenner created the world's first successful vaccine. What was it for? Polio, measles or smallpox? And it was for smallpox. Who surrendered to George Washington, effectively ending the American Revolutionary War? Was it General Cornwallis, Clinton or Gage? And it was General Cornwallis. What was stormed by protesters in 1789, marking the start of the French Revolution? The Notre Dame Cathedral, the Bastille or the Palace of Versailles? And the answer, the Bastille. Who was the last Queen of France before the French Revolution? Was it Marie Antoinette, Anne of Brittany or Isabella of France? And the answer is Marie Antoinette. A rebellion by slaves resulted in the establishment of which independent Caribbean country in 1804? Jamaica, Barbados or Haiti? And the correct answer is Haiti. In 1804, who was crowned Emperor of the French? Napoleon Bonaparte, Louis XVI or Francis I? And the correct answer, Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1805, the British Royal Navy under Nelson defeated the French and Spanish navies at which famous battle? Waterloo, Trafalgar or Gravelines? And the correct answer, the Battle of Trafalgar. Who was nicknamed the Liberator for helping nations become independent from Spain? Simon Bolivar, Augusto Pinochet or Che Guevara? And it was Simon Bolivar. Who led the British force to defeat Napoleon at Waterloo in 1815? Was it Horatio Nelson, James Cook or the Duke of Wellington? And it was the Duke of Wellington. Which battle, fought in 1863, is often considered the turning point in the American Civil War? The Battle of Bull Run, Gettysburg or Vicksburg? And the correct answer is the Battle of Gettysburg. Who did Robert E. Lee surrender to on April 9, 1865, effectively ending the American Civil War? Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln or Joseph Hooker? And he surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. In 1893, who became the first self-governing country to allow all adult women to vote? The United States, Canada, or New Zealand? And that was New Zealand. Who discovered and named X-rays in 1895? Was it Tesla, Röntgen, or Edison? And the correct answer is Röntgen. Who is credited with sending and receiving the first transatlantic radio signal in 1901? Was it Marconi, Tesla, or Edison? And that was Marconi. What was the approximate duration of the Wright brothers' first successful flight in 1903? Was it 12 seconds, 90 seconds, or 3 minutes? And it was just 12 seconds. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in which city, sparking the events that started World War I? Berlin, Paris, or Sarajevo? And that was in Sarajevo. When in 1914 was there an unofficial and impromptu ceasefire to the war on the Western Front? At Easter, Christmas, or New Year's Day? And that happened at Christmas. Who led the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution of 1917? Was it Joseph Stalin, Grigory Rasputin, or Vladimir Lenin? And it was Vladimir Lenin. Name the peace treaty signed in 1919 by Germany and the Allied nations, formally ending World War I. Was it the Treaty of Berlin, Versailles, or London? And it was the Treaty of Versailles. What was the common name given to the 1918-20 flu pandemic that killed an estimated 50 million people? Was it the Spanish, Asian, or Hong Kong flu? And it was the Spanish flu. What event in October 1929 is often considered the starting point of the Great Depression? The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Wall Street crash, or Polish-Soviet War? And it was the Wall Street crash. World War II began in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland, prompting Britain and who else to declare war on Germany? France, the United States, or Soviet Union? And it was France. Which event on December the 7th, 1941 led to the United States entering World War II? The D-Day landings, the attack on Pearl Harbor, or the Battle of Stalingrad? And it was the attack on Pearl Harbor. Name the top secret World War II government program that produced nuclear weapons. Was it the Area 51 project, the Manhattan Project, or the Gemini program? And it was the Manhattan Project. What were the names of the 2 atomic bombs dropped on Japan in 1945? Little Boy and Fat Man, Trinity and Alamos, or Alpha and Omega? And it was Little Boy and Fat Man. After World War II, where were the war crimes trials held for the Nazi Germany leaders? Berlin, Paris, or Nuremberg? And they were held in Nuremberg. Name the African American who was arrested in December 1955 for refusing to give up a bus seat to a white passenger. Was it Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, or Rosa Parks? And it was Rosa Parks. In which spacecraft did Yuri Gagarin complete his historic orbit around the Earth on April the 12th, 1961? Luna 1, Vostok 1, or Mir 1? And that was in Vostok 1. What 1962 event brought the United States and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear war? The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Berlin Blockade, or the Warsaw Pact? And that was the Cuban Missile Crisis. In which US city did the assassination of President Kennedy occur on November the 22nd, 1963? New York City, Washington DC, or Dallas? It was in Dallas. The Apollo 11 module landed on the moon on July the 20th, 1969. Where did they touch down? The Ocean of Storms, Sea of Tranquility, or Sea of Clouds? The correct answer here, the Sea of Tranquility. The fall of which city in 1975 marked the end of the Vietnam War? Hanoi, Nha Trang, or Saigon? And the answer, Saigon. In which country are the killing fields where the Khmer Rouge regime committed genocide in the 70s? Thailand, Vietnam, or Cambodia? And they are in Cambodia. Who invented the World Wide Web in 1989? Was it Tim Berners-Lee, Bill Gates, or Paul Allen? And it was Tim Berners-Lee. What event in November 1989 marked the symbolic end of the Cold War? Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan, the fall of the Berlin Wall, or Ronald Reagan's speech in Berlin? And it was the fall of the Berlin Wall. In February 1990, Nelson Mandela was released after spending how many years in prison? 5, 16, or 27? And the answer is 27. Okay, there's so many events in our world history, I couldn't possibly include them all in this quiz. But do you have a favourite history question that you'd like to ask to the world? Then drop it in the comments down below and let's hear it. Check out my Amazon page for things that I think you'll find interesting. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, share your score, and thanks for watching.